What's up, Online Empire Academy? I'm Joshua Woodward, your podcast host. Today we have on Justin Croxton, and he is in charge of Zon Commerce. And really, he's why I wanted to have him on today was because he's the master of Amazon PPC. And he's created a course on Udemy, and I have so much respect for this content because I am so lost when it comes to Amazon PPC. So first off, Justin, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on. Really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm excited. I mean, it's obviously a challenging subject for the majority of the world. For those of us
I
who are,
totally get it.
yeah,
Totally get it.
dude, it's one of those subjects that's like I still have not wrapped my brain around it, and I've tried. So I
Well, to your point, there's just so much content around it. I mean, you're dealing with keywords. You're trying to look at competitive research. You're trying to figure out the right keywords. There's the platform. It's building the campaigns. There's a lot of stuff, and so hopefully I can provide some insights on just at least the strategy side that can help folks along with their PPC campaigns through Amazon search.
absolutely. Yeah, so let's start off. Well, first share with the community a little bit about your story.
Sure. So a little bit about my story. So let's see here. I don't know if I should go back to undergrad, but graduated Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. Worked in commercial real estate for 6 years. Did a little digital marketing on some of the buildings that I represented. I'm here in the Atlanta market. Made a transition to always wanted to go back to business school, so I went to Stern School of Business in New York to the full-time program. While I was at Stern, I started my own digital marketing agency. I sort of treated it as a summer internship. Picked up a few clients, a few really fun clients actually, which was cool. And once I graduated, I continued sort of in that whole world of digital marketing. So everything from search engine optimization, pay-per-click advertising, but more so on the Google side of things. I really didn't get over to the Amazon side until about early 2015, where I learned this whole world of private label selling and retail arbitrage. And sort of my background is more so on the private label type selling on Amazon. So creating your own brand and selling those products with your own label on that brand, if that makes sense, or on those products rather. So for me, I've really been in the Amazon space for a little under, I guess it's going on a little over a year now.
Huh.
And let's just say we've done relatively well. We've sold our products all around the world. In that short period of time, we've sold in Canada, Spain, Italy, France, Japan, UK, Germany. Certainly, our main base being here in the United States. And so, it's been quite the whirlwind. It's been some challenges, but quite a bit of success. And I think where I like to hang my hat is really on the search engine optimization side of things, as well as on the pay-per-click advertising side of things. I'd say the PPC side mainly because I have so much experience with Google AdWords, and I leverage a lot of those insights and pulling that perspective into the Amazon PPC side of the business. So that's my story. It's been quite the ride, and I'm looking forward to sharing anything else I can with you guys.
Absolutely. And I mean, we'll have to talk another time about just getting into the global Amazon game because I think that
Oh yeah,
it's
it's
a whole
crazy.
nother
It's
subject.
crazy.
But okay, so let's dive into it. Will you break
Sure.
down what Amazon PPC is?
Sure. So Amazon PPC, otherwise known as Amazon sponsored ads, is essentially the ads that show up either at the top, on the right-hand side, or at the very bottom, or sometimes in the middle of a keyword search that you did on Amazon. So let's say, for example, if you're an advertiser and you know that there are certain keywords that you want to show up for, and you're new to this business, but you don't have all the reviews. You've only been in the business for, like, let's say a couple weeks, but maybe you have gotten a few reviews and you want to start advertising your product. Amazon PPC allows you to do that literally on day one.
Wow.
And so it's essentially an auction-based system where you have a bunch of advertisers that are bidding for certain keywords on their auction network. So let's say if I'm selling bamboo cutting boards, and that's sort of my main keyword, then bamboo cutting boards would be the term that I would essentially be bidding on. And those bids can go anywhere from 10 cents all the way up to $3, $4, $5, depending on the competitiveness of that particular keyword. And you can have a gazillion keywords. You can have 5 keywords. It really all depends. But that's ultimately the Amazon sponsored ads platform. Very powerful. If you are selling on Amazon, it's an absolute must in order to be successful or have the level of success that you desire on Amazon's platform.
So for the people who are just super new to this and don't even understand like the basics of what a pay-per-click system is, will you
Absolutely.
explain that?
Sure. So a pay-per-click system is when someone, so let's say you and I, I just had a son on April 13th. His name is Ellis. And for Ellis, we're looking for diapers, right? So if I go to Amazon's website, I type in, newborn diapers, I'll see a bunch of different listings that will show up. And at the very top, I might see Pampers. They may be advertising. There may be someone else that's advertising. When I click on that sponsored ad, quote unquote, that's called a pay per click. So the only time an advertiser pays for their advertising is when someone clicks on their ad. That's the only time that happens.
Okay.
And so that's sort of the rudimentary foundation of what a pay-per-click is. It's no different than AdWords paid search, where you see some of those ads at the very top or at the very bottom of Google, and you see the word ad next to it, and you click on that ad. That is a pay per click. And that pay per click, or the cost for each click, essentially can range, well, here, at least in the Amazon world, can range anywhere from 10 cents all the way up to $5, probably even more, depending on the vertical, depending on the market. So I hope that explains exactly what a pay-per-click really is versus, well, what it ultimately entails.
That's great. And like we are in this sense, we're going to take it from the advertiser because we want to get on Amazon and want to get on Amazon pay-per-click.
I'm totally with you on that. Absolutely.
Totally. So just for the audience, like just start thinking like, okay, every time somebody clicks, that means I pay. So
Exactly.
we're just going to get in that mindset.
Yep.
Why should our audience start using Amazon pay-per-click?
Well, I think the first and foremost is that it gives you the ability to control the keywords that you want to drive traffic through, right? So let's go back to the bamboo cutting board example. The only way that I'm going to get traffic immediately, I mean, there's some other things that we can discuss from a traffic building standpoint, but if we're talking specifically on Amazon's platform, if I want to gain traffic immediately, Amazon PPC is the one place that you can accomplish that. And so, with Amazon search engine optimization, that can take time. You're trying to optimize your listing. You're trying to rank for certain keywords organically. Obviously, that's the holy grail. That's what ultimately everyone wants to be at some point. But the Amazon PPC drives traffic immediately to your site on day one. And for any reason, that is the one reason that you would ultimately want to do Amazon pay-per-click advertising. Secondly, and this is something that some people may or may not know about, but there's also sort of a dual effect, a dual impact that Amazon pay-per-click advertising has, which is being able to also rank organically for those keywords that you have some intuition that's probably the right keywords that you should be ranking for. So going back to the same example, bamboo cutting boards, that's my product. That's ultimately what I want to advertise on. So I may have some terms, some of my terms might be wooden cutting boards, bamboo cutting boards, best bamboo cutting boards, probably some other ones that I'm not thinking of, but ultimately those are the main terms. Every time I get a sale on one of those terms, it has an impact to my overall ability to rank for that keyword organically. And that's huge, right?
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to just give away a bunch of product, and that's another way that you can rank product, which is a sort of a separate conversation. But the truly organic way to do it is to just get natural sales through Amazon PPC. And so if you're getting sales through Amazon pay-per-click advertising and you're getting quite a bit of it, you're putting yourself in a position to rank higher for those keywords that's contextually relevant, and ultimately those keywords that you believe, okay, these things are definitely converting for me. It just naturally makes sense for me to advertise or either to increase my budget or to spend more for those individual keywords. Um, and then ultimately, I think the last thing, and this is something that's a little bit more nuanced, but for me, I'm a really big believer in being able to track and measure as much as you possibly can. And I believe that Amazon makes it very easy for us to do that. They have this system that's called, or this metric that's called average cost of sale. And so let's say, for example, my product sells for $20 and I sold a product I had costs associated with a keyword that amounted to $5. That 5 divided by 20 is essentially 25%. That would essentially be my average cost of sale. And so even just knowing that metric in and of itself gives you the ability to track and measure the success and the failures of some of those keywords so that you can pivot accordingly, turn off certain keywords, make certain keywords what we call a negative term, where you can add that to a list where you're essentially not showing up for that keyword moving forward. So just for those 3 reasons alone, Amazon pay-per-click advertising is an absolute must for any business that is selling a product on Amazon.
That's actually a perfect transition because my next question to you was, does this work for only a private label seller, or can this branch out into more different avenues?
That's a good question. So to be honest with you, when it comes to the retail arbitrage side of it, I think that's what you're sort of getting at. So you have sort of those big box brands, some big brands that are out there, Fortune 500 companies, big e-commerce sellers that have been doing a lot of business online. You have that bucket. You have the retail arbitrage game not game, but the business rather, where you're purchasing a product at a steep discount. You're getting those products in-house. You're uploading those through merchant fulfillment, and you're trying to sell those. And then you have the private label side of it, where you have your own brand, but you're placing your own brand on private label products. I believe through definitely private label and in the brand side, you can absolutely do Amazon pay-per-click advertising. I also believe that you can still do that through a retail arbitrage. I'm just not 100% sure because I haven't done it myself.
Okay.
I can't see there being a reason why you wouldn't be able to, because ultimately Amazon is I'm not saying they're looking to take your money, but they are looking to make money and help you make money too. And if it's something that's fair to the system, it's fair to all the sellers, then I think that's something that is available to merchant fulfilled Amazon sellers as well. So I believe it is. Okay.
So basically, it sounds like I wouldn't really want to send traffic to Hasbro if it's not my own product. And I mean, it's just kind of my thinking is like, yeah, like I don't want to, if I get a killer price on a new superhero toy, I don't want to give them my service. I don't want to pay for those. So it sounds like pay-per-click is more targeted towards people who are doing wholesaling directly with a company, drop shipping directly with a company, and or private labeling for their own business.
I do believe that's correct, Josh.
Okay.
On the retail arbitrage, I'm just not 100% sure, and I don't want to put any false information out there because I know that there's this conversation around the buy box, and if you're going to that whole bit, what does that really look like? But I can tell you with absolute guarantee, certainty, that for private label, all day long, if you have your own brand, all day long. And I do believe to a certain extent through the retail arbitrage side of the business, you do have that ability as well.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's good to know.
But look, here's my philosophy for everyone that's out there. If you don't know it, just go and test it and find out. It's really that straightforward.
I like it. Hey man, that sounds good.
Take a product that you bought, that you have at the house, you want to sell on Amazon. Maybe it's an iPhone 5.0. Put it on, see if you can do Amazon PPC. If you can, boom, retail arbitrage all day long.
That's good. What about the cost? Because that's been a concern of our viewers, people I've been talking to is I'm afraid that it's going to end up sinking my ROI in the end.
Yeah. So, and I totally get that. I've had campaigns in the past when I first started where my ACOS, average cost of sale, was 100%, 150%. Here's a good barometer. This is kind of what I like to look at it as. I like to look at it as anywhere from my ideal ACOS is 25 to 50%. Some people say, no, 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 no. I need to achieve 10% or 20%. But sometimes that's just not realistic. And the other side of it is, yeah, we're not looking to break even, but don't forget that your ability to rank organically for your products or for those terms is directly correlated with your Amazon PPC. So there may be certain instances where I have an ACOS that's, I don't know, let's say it's 100%. Sometimes I'm still willing to pay that because I know that's still impacting my ability to rank for that keyword within Amazon. So I totally understand the sort of the heartburn that some people may experience when they think about, oh man, this is going to cost me a lot of money. But as long as you're staying below, in my judgment, if you're staying below that 100%, really the ideal target is about that 25 to 40%, 50% range. I think you're in a good place, particularly if you say for quote unquote bamboo cutting boards, you're getting 2, 3, 4, 5 sales a day off of that term naturally and organically. It's totally worth it because it's only going to boost up your organic rankings over time. And so you have that cost associated with the Amazon PPC, but then you also have the huge benefit of the free traffic and the free clicks and the impressions that you're getting through the organic side of Amazon's platform.
Now, this may be a super basic question, but I still get the reviews from sponsored ads, correct?
Absolutely. Oh, without question. Without question. And of course, I mean, if you have some sort of an autoresponder set up, and those same folks are leaving reviews organically, obviously, and it's under the verified purchase tab, then absolutely that's also going to show up within your Amazon sponsored ads in addition to your organic listing as well.
That's good, man.
So both sides of the coin, without question.
It like the more and more I hear about this, more and more I talk with people, I don't know why, especially if you've taken the time to develop your own business and develop your own brand, why you wouldn't take the time to start ranking it on Amazon. I just kind of want to take a quick segue. What would it be? What would it take to get those same products ranking on Google through Amazon, if that makes sense?
Makes perfect sense. I'll tell you, it's not easy. There are a lot of folks out there who've been incredibly successful being able to rank their Amazon products on Google. Let me just take it just a step back, because I think some people probably don't even understand, what it actually takes to rank a product on Google, if they have an Amazon link. Two things. First is the Amazon link has to be searchable. It has to be indexed. If it's not indexed, then it can't be, you can't rank. Number two, Amazon typically, or not Amazon, but Google will only have anywhere from 1 to 2 Amazon links per keyword that's essentially ranked on their system. So don't forget that you're also dealing with some of the high level categories that Google has already determined Amazon's category listing for this keyword is most relevant, so we're going to rank that, right? But here's the biggest thing in Google. Search engine optimization in Google is clearly slightly different from Amazon, but the biggest thing is what we call keyword relevancy and links. Keyword relevancy in terms of, if let's say bamboo cutting boards is my product, I have that in my title, I have it peppered throughout my bullets and my description, I have a lot of good, textual stuff that really speaks to what the product is. That's how Google determines, okay, this product or this page is relevant to the searcher's query. That's sort of part of the step. That's like maybe 20, 30% of the process. The other part of the process, Joshua, is what I call links. Links that are pointing back to your Amazon listing page, the one that's indexable, not the other ones, because you can get a whole lot of different links through Amazon for your one product listing. But the one that gets indexed is the one that matters. And your ability to drive links to that product listing is ultimately what's going to give you the ability to rank on Google for that product for those individual keywords.
Hmm.
And honestly, Google is nothing more than I like to call them sort of a voting pool, if you will. Um, your ability to get more votes from both relevant and highly authoritative websites is
Hmm.
ultimately what's going to tell Google, hey, this person has gotten a lot of votes in these different areas. Maybe they should rank higher
Huh.
on this page for this particular keyword. If you look at it from that perspective, and your ability to market your product through other channels, whether you're doing a press release or if you are being mentioned in a blog, you're doing a
Huh.
product giveaway, you're giving out that indexable link, those are the types of things that over time can hopefully get that link ranked within Google for your primary term. So it's not easy. It does take time, but I've seen folks that have been able to do it, and it's very, very doable.
That's so interesting. I'm thinking about,
Yeah.
like, there's a few people I've seen on YouTube
Yeah.
who will test people's Amazon products.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh wow, that's a great idea because that person gets free products." And then but now I'm realizing, "Oh, that's for SEO. That's for search engine optimization." And that's to all link back to their Amazon. That's a genius idea.
Yeah, and it's a dual effect. In the SEO world, I like to look at it as, if an SEO company is doing a great job for you, they're doing two things. One, they're getting you more organic traffic, and they're also getting you more referral traffic,
Huh.
because they're getting referral traffic from legitimate sites, legitimate web pages, whether it's someone's YouTube page, whether it's someone's blog, whether it's a press release, whatever it is, you're getting legitimate traffic through that and the link that's pointing back to that indexable link from Amazon. So it's all encompassing.
Gosh, man, there's so much here. I know we could probably spend an entire hour just on
And we
that.
can spend hours talking about this stuff,
Dude,
man.
it's so cool. Um, let's get into some of the do's and don'ts. What are the do's and don'ts of getting started with specifically Amazon PPC?
So it's a couple things. I would say the biggest, well, if we're talking about getting into the business of doing the sponsored ads, I kind of like to look at somewhat of a process, more of the things that I like to look at. And the first thing that I like to do is do competitive research. And by that, I mean, taking, for example, again, the bamboo cutting boards, I'll do the actual search myself
Hmm.
on bamboo cutting boards. I'll do the search and I'll see who are the true top competitors. And I'm not talking about like the bigger brands
Yeah.
that are those folks that are doing like 100, $200 million a year. I'm talking about some of those maybe private label sellers,
Hmm.
maybe some of those folks that are doing some retail arbitrage. There's a great tool that's out there called Jungle Scout that helps discern which ones are big brands from private label, from merchant fulfilled. I like to look at the private label and FBA stuff more than anything else. Um, and so I try to pick sort of the top two, top three brands, and I just kind of look at their listing, I look at their title. For me, that helps give me a sense of, all right, so these are some of their true terms that maybe there's some that I didn't think about, and these are some of the ones that just further confirms my assumptions that these are the terms that I ultimately want to rank for. I can't stress enough how critical that competitive research is, because it really gives you a sense of where your competitors are and how you can perform, do a little better than what they're doing.
Hmm.
That's the first thing. The second thing is there are certain tools that I use. One is called Google Keyword Planner. It's, because I'm a pay-per-click advertising guy on the Google side, I use it daily for clients that I work with. It's free to anyone that's out there. The only thing you have to do is get an AdWords account set up. Those folks through AdWords, they're going to ask you for your billing information. Don't worry about it. Just add it. You don't have to advertise anything on Google's platform. Just enter that information, your billing information, and then you have access to this tool. And I can't stress enough how incredible this tool truly is. So I can literally take that same keyword, let's say bamboo cutting boards, and Google, through its contextual search, will find all of the other relevant terms that's specifically centered around bamboo cutting boards.
Hmm.
And there might be a ton of terms that I'm not even aware of. And here's the other great thing about it, is that not only will it find terms that you're not even aware of, it will also share with you the search volume of those terms. And that's huge because it's not as if those search volumes are exactly the same search volumes on Amazon. However, it is, it's very similar in that regard. So if I'm looking at bamboo cutting boards versus wooden cutting boards, and I'm trying to figure out, all right, what should my title really be? And I noticed that out of all the terms that I was thinking about, bamboo cutting boards actually gets way more traffic than best top wooden cutting boards, just as an example. Then I'm going to go with wooden cutting boards. So you can essentially extrapolate out those the demand or the searches for those keywords over into Amazon, knowing with a certain level of certainty that these keywords are probably the better ones to go after versus some of these other ones that really aren't driving as much traffic. So Google Keyword Planner, highly recommend that to everyone that's out there. Again, AdWords account, billing information. You don't have to pay anything. It's free of charge, but Google has a really, really great set of tools that's available to everyone. I'm trying to think what else. There are some other standard practices that, let me just say this. There's a lot of videos that are out there that can just train you on just how to build the campaigns. Obviously, we can't talk about that here. But I do have some other individual points that I can talk about if you want me to kind of get into some of those other details as well, Joshua. But in terms of the competitive research, that's a big one. Google Keyword Planner is a huge one as well. But then there are also some nuances within the platform, Joshua, that I can also speak to that I think will be absolutely critical to the success of anyone that's running a sponsored ads program on Amazon, because they have made a lot of changes. And so I can speak to that a little bit as well.
Yeah, well, before we hit that, I'd love to know if there's any don'ts, like don't do this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say my one don't is, let's say I have the word bamboo cutting board versus bamboo cutting boards. Go with one of those. Don't go with both of them. So my thing, because Amazon automatically considers both of them the same term. And recently, based on my own testing and some of the work that I've done, there's been some cannibalization that's been going on Amazon, where you can have two terms that are cannibalizing the traffic. And it can make it even more challenging for you to get the right traffic that you want for those particular keywords that you're going after. So that's the first thing. The second thing is Amazon also has what's called first page bid estimate. It's not a perfect system. Some people will just try to bid right at that first page bid estimate. I think you need to go at least 50% higher than that first page bid estimate. I've been at the first page bid estimate for a lot of keywords that I ultimately want to rank for, and no traffic. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I know what some of you are going to say. Well, if I increase it by 50%, 100%, 200%, isn't that going to kill my ACOS? Yes, it is possible. However, the only way you'll know that is by testing. And don't forget that not necessarily the ACOS, but those keywords that you're spending money on is going to have an impact on your organic rankings. So it's something that you have to monitor. But the one thing that I don't want people to fall in is say, oh, I was at the first page bid estimate of $1. I'm bidding $1. I'm not getting any traffic. You're going to have to increase that bid. You're going to have to increase it to $1.50, $2, $2.50. See what happens. See if the traffic's coming in. See if you're getting sales, and then you can sort of adjust accordingly from that standpoint. And the last thing that I tell folks to do is, before you launch, this is sort of a do and a don't. So I'm going to couch it this way. Don't have a crappy listing on Amazon and you're trying to do sponsored ads, because that's going to hurt your average cost of sale. So if you think about it this way, it's all about conversion rates, right? If I have a good listing with good copy, good images, that's only going to have a positive impact on my ACOS. You don't want to start at a low bar. You don't want to start at a place where, my images are not great, particularly in comparison to my competitors, or I don't have the right keywords that's speaking to the searcher's intent.
Hmm.
I don't have the right benefits within the bullets. My description doesn't have any HTML. It's all crap. All of that's just going to impact it's only going to impact your sponsored ads program, where you're not going to have the best ACOS possible.
Hmm.
So don't come into this game with a terrible ACOS. And the same conversation holds true with reviews. I typically tell people, don't get started with Amazon sponsored ads unless you have at least 10 reviews.
Huh.
Just have at least 10 reviews. I mean, if you think about it, I'm sure, Joshua, you probably look at different restaurants, different places on Yelp, versus other spots, and you're typically looking at the places that have reviews,
Yeah.
that 5-star rating, right?
Absolutely.
Folks that have at least 4 or 5, boom, you're going to probably do business with them. You're probably going to go to that establishment, spend some money and grab a meal there. The same concept holds true, and it's essentially what has been the foundation to Amazon's success, among many other things. So have some of those reviews set up initially, so you're not wasting so much money on sponsored ads where you don't have at least 5, 10, 15, 20 reviews and getting started. So those are sort of my do's and don'ts.
That's great.
And so we'll just leave it at that. I have a lot of stuff that I can talk about, but I believe in the power of 3s and sometimes 4s. So we'll just leave it at that.
I love it. And for those of you, we're running right up on time, so I want to just be respectful of your time and make sure our audience gets the most content as possible. So you guys, Justin has actually created a course all about PPC, and it's a Udemy course. You can go to the onlineempireacademy.com/Zon Commerce. So again, the onlineempireacademy.com/Zon Commerce, and that's where you'll get his course. I'm not sure what the pricing of it. I think you said it was like $20.
I think it's $20. Was 25. We give a 20% discount to all of the listeners there. So $20, and literally the course goes through soup to nuts, advanced level stuff, basic level stuff, and also how to build a campaign. Also how to use some of the different tools, whether it's Google Keyword Planner. Another tool that I use called Keyword Inspector. We talk about how to use that tool. Just everything that you need so you can get started and know how to utilize sponsored ads successfully for your business.
That's fantastic, man. Well, again, guys, go check that out. I mean, $20 to figure this whole thing out. You can't beat that. So thank you so much for coming on. I've so appreciated the content.
This was a blast, Joshua. Thanks for taking the time and reaching out to me. This has been a lot of fun, and I really look forward to keeping in contact with you as well.
Absolutely. Hopefully we can have you on again.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Until next time, Empire, have a fantastic day.